Hear this? Bonsoir à tous et à toutes, bienvenue dans B.World Connection. Nous sommes de retour à Washington pour la 39e édition du Black Caucus, le rendez-vous des parlementaires noirs et du public pour débattre sur les questions relatives à la communauté. Quelques mois après l'élection du premier président africain-américain Barack Obama, inutile de vous dire que cette édition avait une saveur toute particulière. Are you ready for B.World Connection? It's our time. It's your time now.
In a general answer to how you bring people together is you have to have very focused, tangible goals. You unite people around goals.
We did not turn back, nor did we falter. And with eyes fixed on the horizon and God's grace upon us, we carried forth that great gift of freedom and delivered it safely to future generations. Thank you. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America.
We talk about Barack Obama. Many months later, how do you judge his action?
Our president, his first job is to stay here with us. That is his first job. His soul is so correct that in spite of any force outside and around him, he stays on point and on message. And there's a great value in that lesson for all of us to learn. The reality that we can look back and believe. It's very difficult for us to look forward and still hold that same faith. But the world was not ready for Barack Obama to become president. But Barack Obama was ready for him to become president.
Thank you, my brother.
Going out to the hardcore hip-hop. Going out to the hardcore hip-hop.
The influence of hip-hop on the presidency, I had the honor and pleasure of interviewing him over the phone twice. President Obama, one before the primary and one before the general election. And before the primary, I had to ask because there was this whole big thing about he wasn't black enough. So I said, Barack, what do you have to say to those people who say you're not black enough? Barack said, black enough compared to who? Busta Rhymes? The fact that he knew Busta Rhymes. I said, did you say Busta? Like, you said Busta Rhymes? I was so excited. KRS-One, who was one of my favorite MCs when I was small and all the way up to now, had said about 10, 15 years ago, soon one of the president will be of age and will have grown up in a generation where he will have grown up with hip-hop. And I'm proud to say that I was able to see, not only is he African-American, not only is he that dude, but he grew up with hip-hop, which is something I did. So he is familiar with our struggle, familiar with our hustle, familiar with all of that. This culture of hip-hop has been and hopefully will continue to be more about just fun and more just about going out. There was a period when it was all about education, upliftment, It was pro-black. It was a big pro-black area with the Jug Brothers and Tribe Called Quest and Queen Latifah and all these people were out in Public Enemy all came out, and they had something to say. They were the voice of a generation of a young black people who had no voice. Now we have that voice, but we must continue to use not only the music, but our own voices in our own ways in our own communities to let our voices be heard.
Thank you.
How are you, brother?
What's happening?
Yeah, good. How was the conference?
Conference has been great so far. We've been learning a lot, talking a lot about things affecting the community. And now that all the young people are of age, people that grew up on hip-hop, it's kind of hard to get somebody to vote who hasn't been exposed to or grew up on hip-hop. So lots of people that are voting have that hip-hop influence. So it's been very influential because hip-hop has touched everyone, whether you like it or not, whether you really love it or you've heard it, you've rocked with it, whatever. So it's been very influential on politics in America because now we are of age to vote and now we have a lot to say.
Before hip-hop, we had artists who put words together. We had Muhammad Ali rhyming. We had James Brown rhyming. We were even influenced by Malcolm X, and we have his daughter in the audience, Malik Shabazz. Stand up, sister. Good to see you. And so we wanted to bring some great minds here today from the hip-hop community, from the congressional community, to talk about not only hip-hop's impact on politics, but hip-hop's impact on Obama's candidacy, now President Obama's candidacy, and how we move forward and see more from the hip-hop community become governors, becoming members of Congress, and becoming President of the United States.
What I always say is that, hip-hop is not just a mirror of what is. It should also be a reflection of what can be. A lot of times folks say, well, I want to keep it real and I want to be down. And then we're just trapped in, what is. The question is, imagine something different. Imagine communities that aren't torn up by violence. Imagine communities that where we're respecting our women. Imagine communities where knowledge and reading and academic excellence are valued. Imagine communities where fathers are doing right by their kids. That's also something that has to be reflected. Art can't just be a rear view mirror. Right. It should have a headlight out there. So pointing to where we need to go.
Before the time of wires and plastic, iPods, PSPs, and DVRs, technology took the form of hollow tree stumps covered with animal hides that had been tanned, cured, and stretched to produce the perfect pitch. The African drum, the very first radio, carried news of births, marriages, and rites of passage on the wind. It transmitted warnings of foul weather and war, illness and invasion. Every beat measured the lives and legacies of early humanity. Since then, communication has evolved from word of mouth to messengers, griots to town criers, from the telegraph to the telephone to broadcasting as we know it today. Radio has come to wield the power to influence thoughts, ideas, cultures, and minds all over the world.
Radio needs to serve people. It should not be a business first. And that is the issue. That's the issue that the community has.
Miss Ayana, how do you explain the decline of black radio?
Well, if you're going to explain the decline of black radio, really what it is a decline of black culture in this country, period. Radio is just one of the symptoms. But when we talk about black radio, what we're talking about is the fact that historically radio's been very important to the black community. It was very important to the civil rights movement. It's important to the world because black music is played on it. And whether you're talking about the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, 90s, up until today, it is black culture that really drives the planet. If you go to any other country, everybody's trying to dress like black kids. Everybody's trying to talk like black kids. But even more important than that is the idea that there's no news and information on black radio. When you turn on a radio, you're probably not going to get a really meaningful conversation. You're definitely not going to get investigative news. They might report news that the AP has already distributed. They might report news that they've already heard on CNN or any mainstream media channel. But it's not news that we've investigated, where we've come up with our own conclusions, where we frame the questions ourselves. And what that means is very few people are controlling what we think, what we look like, what we sound like, what we want, what we buy, how we feel about ourselves. It's not about diversity, because diversity is this word that says, like, as long as we have faces that look black in there, then everything's okay. It's not about diversity, it's about black empowerment, and it's about black ownership, and we don't have access to that. It's one of the main factors as to why we don't have the kind of radio that we should have.
At the current time, black radio is a monopoly, in my opinion. And we are playing things that is detrimental to the community and to the young people. And we have to go back and refocus what black radio and black music was in our history and our culture, because black music and black radio was all about teaching us and teaching the world what was going on in our neighborhoods. Now, so black radio is more about me, money, 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 cars, cars, cars. And that's not reality. That's not reality. That's only a portion of who we are as a total person. And so when black radio becomes more about the total person and less about me, then we will have a resurgence or a renaissance in our culture, in our community, and in our villages.
In an uncertain environment, one thing is certain: if we lose radio, our voices may disappear forever.
I'm from Philadelphia. My name is Pam Africa, and we have a radio station called W.R.D., which is a black-owned radio station. The Lomax family owns that. And the reason why Mumia Abu-Jamal is alive today is because of black radio. And a lot of that black radio has disappeared.
From death row, this is Mumia Abu-Jamal. My name is Mumia Abu-Jamal. I'm on death row, Pennsylvania. Ex-president of the Association of Black Journalists in Philadelphia. I'm still continuing revolutionary journalism. I write for anybody who wants me to write for them. And I'm fighting my conviction, fighting the sentence, fighting for my life, and fighting to create revolution in America.
Chers fidèles de B.World Connection, puis-je vous faire une confidence? Je suis vraiment heureux puisque je viens de rencontrer Pam Africa. Pam Africa est quelqu'un que j'ai rencontré en 2002 à Philadelphie, qui nous avait invités avec la délégation de Guadeloupe pour justement faire des marches pour libérer Mumia Abu-Jamal. Mumia Abu-Jamal est toujours en prison malheureusement, mais Pam Africa est toujours en lutte, et ça nous fait plaisir de la rencontrer aujourd'hui pour le Black Caucus. How are you, Pam Africa?
I'm doing fine.
Nice to meet you again.
On the move, yeah.
In 2002, you remember, I know, we worked together to free Mumia, and we think word by word we're gonna free Mumia. It's hard to be free for Mumia, but how is Mumia? Because I know you visit Mumia regularly.
I was just up visiting Mumia last Tuesday. I went to visit him, and he's strong. He just did a book called Jailhouse Lawyers, and he's preparing to do another one. But you know, Mumia is a free black man on death row who need to be released from prison.
Definitely. Many defenders of Mumia all over the world think now we have a black president in USA. Can we have a change for Mumia?
Mumia is no black president is the answer to the freedom of Mumia.
Yeah.
It's people who can push a black president to stand up against this government. Because one thing for sure, as senator in Chicago, he knew about the case of Mumia. We now have a petition to U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, and are calling for a civil rights investigation into the case. We're not saying, look, let Mumia go because we say it, because we have a worldwide movement, but come here, have a civil rights investigation, an open thing so that people can see, and then release Mumia based on evidence and nothing more.
Yo! Accusé, levez-vous. Guilty or not guilty? Coupable ou non coupable? Mais moi je plaide non coupable pour le Mumia Abu Jamal Sin. Black men amongst the black men. Je les entends dire qu'ils veulent tuer Abu Jamal. Et cela me heurte, cela me blesse, cela me fait mal. Je les entends dire qu'ils veulent tuer Abu Jamal comme s'ils étaient insensibles à nos nombreux appels. Je les entends dire qu'ils veulent tuer Abu Jamal. Ma peine, je les entends dire qu'ils veulent tuer Abu Jamal, Mr. Bill Clinton. Puis notre grâce présidentielle, le PDG est libéré par Jesse Jackson, mais qui délivre Abu Jamal de leur piège cruel. Ils auraient voulu la photo, justice en échelle. Abu Jamal comme trophée pour leur hôtel, mais il y a injustice. L'affaire tourne au scandale, c'est ceux-là même qui veulent établir l'ordre mondial. Je les entends dire qu'ils veulent tuer Abu Jamal. Oh, oh, my friend, je les entends dire qu'ils veulent tuer
We have to stop acting like we don't know how to educate black males. We know how to educate black males. It's the way everybody else educate any other student. And if you don't believe me, UCLA, USC, University of Michigan, it's funny they can't find black boys to major in math and science, but they can find black boys to play football. And when they bring them in to play football, the first thing they do is that they create a community. By law, at the University of Michigan now, the University of Michigan can go to downtown Detroit and recruit black boys to play football, bring them to the University of Michigan, give them mentors and tutors and create a community, give them food and keep them healthy, give them tutors and keep them eligible, but by law, the University of Michigan cannot go downtown Detroit and recruit black boys and bring them to Michigan and give them food and give them tutors to keep them eligible to become men and engineers and scientists into our communities.
I need this brother to stand for a moment, who spoke just a few moments ago. He is a reflection of the extraordinary integrity and power and passion of black men in our community, across the United States and beyond the United States. This young man spent time incarcerated. 2 of my brothers died in prison. This young man got out. He chose to go to school. He went from thugging or having a sense of despair and not a focus to receiving the Chancellor's Award in our district.
Hi, Mari.
How you doing, sir?
I'm cool. Yeah. Is it important for you to be a role model?
Oh, yes, definitely it's important for me to be a role model. The reason it's so important is because I want to change what it is that I've seen in my life coming up and change what it is that I see nowadays and try to steer people on a better path to know that as an African American that we are more than what everybody has perceived us to be. It's very important for me because I have children. I have brothers, I have people that are coming up behind me that need to see me go from where it is that I once was to where it is that I really can be, and show them that they can do the same thing.
Vroom, 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 vroom.
Alors moi qui t'ai offert un vélo tout neuf, tu vas m'écraser pour me remercier, hein? Foiré.
Ken! Mais Ken! Je croyais que tu devais nous aider, mon frère. Des flemmards? Et les flemmards, il y en a marre.
Vroom, 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 vroom. Ah, vroom, 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 vroom.
Tu regardes les autres travailler, hein?
Faut que tu me paies pour ça, Ken, je plaisante pas.
You say your son, your daughter, your mother, many people help you to be good. But some bad boy, they say, me no have daughter, no woman, no brothers, no family. I don't care. I want to make money or cemetery. I don't care. What is your reply for them? Because many young people all over the world follow them.
Well, what I would say to them, honestly, is even though you may not physically have children, you know, it requires a village to raise a child. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but it requires a village to raise a child. Because sometimes things are going to happen to where there may be a little confusion over here with my child, and he may be upset with me. He may, you know, we may get in a fight. Something may happen to where now, you know, he's walking down the street, he's mad, he's upset with me, and what happens? Now he's looking to you for some sort of guidance. You know, and we have to look at it on a much bigger level than we've been looking at it as. You know, yes, you know, it's always about quote unquote making money and doing it the best and the quickest way that you possibly can. But we have to realize that that's not what it's always about anymore. It's about all of us together, because it's not just you. You know, it's not just you. It's not just that bad boy. It's not that just that anymore. It's everybody. You know, because now, you know, we have Barack Obama, we have, you know, this economy problem, we have this is a worldwide problem that we have. It's not just a problem that you're having, it's not just a problem that she's having, this is a problem that we are all having. And the only way we're going to be able to correct it is if we all put together and correct it together.
Thank you very much, my brother Mary.
No problem, sir.
Thank you. Respect.
This program is essential to the idea of the black man's thoughts transcending the norm. The Maximum Achievement Project is the truth. Thank you very much.
This particular program, MAP program, Maximum Achievement Project, we purposely chose this title, not me, but the guys who put it together, black men, because they recognize words have power. Maximum achievement. It's called having high expectations. When you move your expectations from here and you put them up here, all of a sudden the bar is raised. My expectation is that you, all of us will be better than what we have appeared to be. Every individual, without exception, there is excellence. And I'll take off my glasses, my eyes burn with the light. But let me just say, whoever's watching this, there's excellence, there's genius in every person, without exception. And the degree to which one is connected to that excellence, to that genius that's within, doesn't require anything outside, yet it can be reinforced by what's outside. To the degree to which one is in touch with one's own genius, they're experiencing the power of being great. And that, I think, is what life is about. And so this Black Male Initiative is about reminding black men who may in their bodies really be boys, the capacity of their own genius. Yeah. And when that occurs, watch out. And so for those of you sisters out there who are looking for that great man, you be the great woman. The great man's probably already in your face and you don't know it. You can't observe it because you don't know what it is. And part of experiencing greatness from others is finding it in oneself first and foremost.
Thank you very much.
It's my honor.
Thank you, Doctor. In my country, Guadeloupe particularly, young black people wanna do like Crips and Blood.
Make no doubt about it. This is a civil war right here.
One of the longest running wars in the history of this country.
There can always be someone outside that's ready to kill me because of where I live at.
We go over there and kill one of them, and they come over and kill one of us.
Like we're going into it. You can't dodge, run away, and get out of this. This is what it is.
You have people of the same ethnic makeup murdering each other at epidemic proportions, and no one is noticing.
They ran them down, they chased them down, they hunted them down, they murdered everybody that they could and made everybody else either go to exile or they locked them up in the penitentiary. And when all that was over with, a new element rose up called the Crips.
We have to stop looking outside of the Crips and Bloods and look towards A's, B's, and becoming people of the community. Only thing that's gonna lead from that gang life is death or incarceration. And that is not where I know I would not want to be, and I wouldn't expect someone else to want to be in that way. To stay in a jail cell where it's filthy, rats, the food isn't adequate to your health. You just have to really think outside the box, and that is the key concept. To think bigger than the Bloods and the Crips, because like I stated earlier, it's only death or the prison, and that's where you're gonna go. So if that's where you want to go, where I think no one wants to go, don't live the life of saying, I regret what I did in the past, but instead, live for building for the future.
My father was a gang member. My mother didn't have enough guidance, so they brought me into this world, but they wasn't a unit, and it started there. When you have no parents, you tend to run wild. Growing up in Oakland, California, it's more likely to see a young man shoot another man than to give him a book or to put him through college. The very first role model that I saw was a drug dealer. He was my uncle. Before I ever saw a college book, before I ever saw an investment portfolio, before I ever saw a calculator, I saw crack cocaine. So when you start off like that, you think that to have something is to take something. To make something, you have to break something. So growing up in that ideology, you begin to become selfish. Now I feel like you owe me the world. Not we can have the world together, but you owe me the world. As I grew up, I realized that I was always powerful, but I used my powers for bad. I ran the streets, I did things that everyone else did, but it didn't feel right. It never felt right. So one day, a young man, a Latin man from El Salvador, he was getting beat up by some guys I knew. In my neighborhood, you don't do good. If you want to do good, you may get shot, killed, or stabbed to do good. But I took it upon myself to help this young man. So what I did was I talked to the young brothers, told them to leave them alone. They respected me enough to not do it. And I learned that maybe I have more power than I'm using. Maybe as opposed to being detrimental and to destroy things, I can build things. So once my little brother was murdered in 2007 at 19 years old, that's when I said I'm done with anything that doesn't practice preservation of life. And that's why I am who I am today.
Thanks, brother.
No, thank you.
Unemployment is up, according to figures released by the Department of Labor, with nearly 200,000 more claims for unemployment over last month. The government today indicates that the Americans whose income is...
Mario Van Peebles.
This is Detective Nick Peretti, big crazy jarhead, motorcycle freak, reject cop just like you, Scotty.
Comme vous le savez, au Black Caucus, nous faisons toujours des rencontres intéressantes. Nous sommes en compagnie de M. Mario Van Peebles. C'est un honneur pour nous de le recevoir dans B.World Connection. Lui aussi, il tient à nous accorder une petite interview. Il est en compagnie de sa fille qui parle français.
Moi, je parle franglais. C'est les deux ensemble, c'est anglais et français. Mais c'est elle qui parle meilleur français que moi.
Voilà. Et tu t'appelles?
Morgana.
Morgana.
Oui.
Ok. Alors, ce que nous avons remarqué au Black Caucus cette année, c'est qu'il y a beaucoup de conférences sur l'éducation des hommes noirs, des jeunes noirs. Et tu as fait un film. Pourquoi l'as-tu fait?
Le nom de mon film, c'est A-Game. And, bon, je dis ça en anglais, elle traduit pour moi? Okay. And the reason I did A-game was that right now in America, when we have about 75% of white kids graduate with their high school class. For Asian kids, the numbers go up to 78%. And for African Americans, it goes down to 50%. And most of the problem is we have the young brothers dropping out.
You know what they say, right? That the truth will set you free. But first, you're gonna be upset. There will be some things said in this movie that will upset some people. Truth said to your face that you don't usually hear. And the brothers telling you that truth, they already got their boardroom hustle on, their street hustle. They're making money. They're bringing their A game. They're just trying to see that you can bring yours. The truth is, about 75% of white kids graduate with their high school class. For Asian kids, the number goes up a little bit to 77%. And for African American kids, the number goes down to 50%. That's right, we have a 50% dropout rate, and it's mostly young brothers. If you're thinking about dropping out of high school, what are you dropping out to do? Well, we want to be the success we see, right? So what do we see? We see the ball players balling, we see the rappers rapping. That's what we're going to be.
C'est tragique, vraiment tragique. And what's happening is, here's the truth. If you drop out of school to be a brain surgeon and you don't make it, you might still be a doctor. If you drop out of school to be a dream team attorney and you don't make it, you might still be a lawyer, right? But if you drop out of school to be a basketball player and you don't make it, you're a tall brother washing dishes. So we need to stop thinking about just playing basketball and think about owning the team. Stop thinking about just acting and thinking about owning the record, owning the movie, directing the movie. We need to think about ownership and being the boss. And to do that takes education.
Justement, ton père aurait pu te donner beaucoup de belles choses, mais il t'a donné l'éducation. Et apparemment, c'est ce que toi tu as retenu. C'est l'éducation la meilleure des choses.
Oui, c'est parce que l'éducation, ça va me servir quand je suis très grand. Si je veux une cheval ou quoi, ça va pas me servir quand je suis très grand. L'éducation, c'est la plus importante parce que si tu veux être président ou un avocat, un médecin, tu dois rester en école.
Avec dans ton école.
Ah oui, maintenant je suis le président de mon école. Je suis la première, 6e, d'être le président de mon école.
Ça c'est bien. Donc ça te donne de l'ambition pour être présidente plus tard.
Oui.
The first.
Oui.
The first.
Pourquoi pas? C'est possible, hein?
T'as vu, j'ai même pas osé le dire. Je dis the first.
We were at the White House today. I was showing her. I said, "Baby, now when you get to be president, that's the room I want right over there. You put Daddy over there."
When you talk like that, we sing about the song of Jimmy Cliff. When you say, "If you really want, you can get it."
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
En tout cas, merci.
You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try. Try and try. Try and try. You'll succeed at last.
How are you, my brother?
I'm great, my brother. It's good to see you again, man.
Good to see you too.
It's been a little over here, but it's good to see you, man.
Good to 1 year later.
Yeah, man.
What are you doing in the Black Caucus? Well, I know you are an activist, a Pan-African activist.
Yes, man. Well, as always, being based here in D.C., I always come check the Black Caucus out because a lot of people come from all over, and it's very important that we interface, even with those that have not become conscious enough to know that it's time for us to reclaim our own sovereignty globally, north, south, east, and west of all the world. As the 9th successor to the Right Excellent Honorable Marcus Mosai Garvey, elected last August to that position, I'm fired up with the spirit of the ancestors because it's time that we wake up and do what we have to do. Stop worrying about what the other fellas doing and concentrate on what we aren't doing. This caucus is very good where it relates to black people raising up, but this system that they're working for is not a system that's going to work for us in the future.
magazine on Marcus Garvey Voice. You call it Garvey Voice.
Right.
What can we learn in it?
Well, Garvey's voice was reestablished after the Negro World back in 1950. Of course, you know, Garvey had the Negro World. What Thomas W. Harvey did, a student of Garvey, was bring the Garvey's voice back, which is the same basic communication. So what we do is explain to brothers and sisters all over the world of what we need to renew in ourselves so that we can rise up and reclaim not just Africa, but the whole world where Africans are at. But Africa's the center of the world. It's no doubt about the fact that the center of the world is Africa. The question becomes is, why are we on the bottom of the rung all over the world? So to flip back the paradigm and to get back to ancient times where we rule the world, we have a lot of work to do. We have to address health and wellness. We have to address political, economic development. We have to go back to Africa. We just established in less than 6 years, 6 new divisions, 3 in Sierra Leone, 1 in Jamaica, 1 in Atlanta, and 1 cyberspace division, which is Harambe 369. Brothers, the UNIA in the 21st century gonna be bigger than anybody ever imagined. The UNIA is not an organization, it's a government. And we have an international expatriate movement that's working right now. So you can read about that in the Garvey's Voice. Now brothers and sisters see that the only methodology is us.
Tim, thanks brother.
Yes.
Take care. Il y a aussi des surprises au Black Caucus. Au Black Caucus, il y a des gens qui se déplacent, des gens comme le maire de Pointe-à-Pitre, M. Jacques Bongo. Vraiment content de vous voir, monsieur le maire. Vraiment content.
Content de vous voir tous.
Alors, qu'est-ce que vous êtes venu faire au Black Caucus? Expliquez-nous, qu'est-ce que ça peut vous apporter, qu'est-ce que ça peut nous apporter?
Déjà, bon, je ne suis pas venu que pour le Black Caucus, mais j'ai saisi l'opportunité qui m'a mené à Washington pour pouvoir passer cette journée au Black Caucus. D'une part parce que, en termes sur le fond, la question des minorités noires à l'intérieur d'un grand pays comme les États-Unis, mais également la question des minorités d'une manière générale dans tous les pays du monde, y compris le nôtre, cette question elle a besoin d'être débattue. Et pour nous, c'est intéressant de savoir mais comment chacun, avec son talent particulier, avec son histoire, aborde cette question-là. Deuxièmement, sur la forme, je suis extraordinairement sensible à la capacité qu'ont un certain nombre d'hommes et de femmes dans ce pays des États-Unis à aborder leurs problématiques, mais avec une puissance qu'on a du mal à imaginer dans le système dans lequel nous sommes en Guadeloupe. Je viens de voir une conférence avec l'ancien maire de la Nouvelle-Orléans et je viens de voir un fameux congressman noir parler des débats et des conquêtes et des sujets qu'ils ont à soulever. Je suis admiratif et je viens apprendre.
C'est ça qui est intéressant au Black Caucus, c'est-à-dire qu'on peut se permettre de faire notre autocritique, c'est-à-dire qu'on voit la communauté noire qui se réunit pour parler de ce qui va et de ce qui ne va pas.
D'ailleurs, c'est la communauté noire, mais ce n'est pas une communauté qui est enfermée sur elle-même. Voilà. Dans les conférences auxquelles j'ai assisté ce matin, il y a des Blancs, il y a des gens qui viennent d'autres communautés, mais qui discutent tous de la même problématique qui est celle des minorités et bien entendu en priorité de la minorité noire et des difficultés qu'elle doit surmonter. Donc ça c'est vrai que c'est particulièrement important. Et puis c'est des gens de toutes conditions. On a l'impression d'être aussi bien à côté de la femme de ménage comme du congressman et qu'ensemble ils disent oui non là ce problème-là c'est pas possible là, on peut pas là avec cette manière un petit peu presque religieuse qu'ils ont d'aborder les problèmes et d'en discuter.
Eh bien, monsieur le maire, vraiment merci pour cette rencontre, pour cette petite discussion.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and
we want to talk about a young man and his family that really represented what the essence of creativity, talent, skill, precision that could reach around this globe 100 times. That's who Michael Jackson was. We want to focus on one in a family. There were 9 children, and Michael was one of the younger ones. And as you know, he started very early on. And one of the things that he always regretted in his short life is that he never got a chance to be a child. And often, I am told he would sit and look out the window as children play and started to cry. A famous researcher said, if you don't go through all the developmental stages, you're bound to repeat them somewhere along the way. And so many men tend to repeat a stage of life they forget.
Michael Jackson will never be duplicated, will never be eclipsed, will never be equaled. He started life with a handful of aces, right? Singer, dancer, producer, songwriter. He could do everything. He comes along in the 60s when there's this integrationist push in America, right? So he gets behind the power of Motown, and a white America says, hey, we really should pay attention to this guy. And he's making movies, not videos, but movies. So he transforms MTV not on just a racial level, but on an aesthetic level. And I would say that nobody has come close to the video oeuvre that Michael Jackson created. And they had a lot of time to catch up.
Overseas, some people, critics are African American because they say, we can't understand Michael Jackson. They say he's not a black man, he's a white. And when he's died, now every African American say, we love Michael Jackson.
Well, here's the thing.
What is your reply?
Well, here's the thing. He's our brother. And sometimes you have a brother and you love him, and no matter what he does, you're gonna love him. But I'm not happy about this part of your life.
Yeah.
What are you doing over here?
Yeah.
But I love you. But I'm gonna be critical of you of this piece. But that doesn't mean that it comes from a place of love, and being critical does not mean an absence of love. If I didn't care about you, I wouldn't bother to criticize you.
My beloved ones, my extraordinarily gifted, talented, resilient ones. We're here today because we want to talk about our son, our brother, our grandson. And he was my student in elementary school, and I've never let him go. As an elder in the African community, I give you the power and the capacity to know that you are beloved, special, extraordinary, gifted, talented. And when the time comes, don't sit it out. Dance.
There'll be no darkness tonight. Lady, our love will shine. Lighting the night. Yeah, just put your trust in my heart and meet me in paradise. Now is the time, girl. You're every wonder in this world to me. Yeah, a treasure time won't steal away. So listen to my heart. Lay your body close to mine. Let me fill you with my dreams. you feel alright. And baby, through the years, gonna love you more each day. So I promise you tonight that you will always be the lady in my life.
The thematic of the black question in the French public debate, which I have to broach with you, could be summarized in this short story. Imagine that you participate in the construction of a house, that you contribute to making it more solid, bigger, more beautiful, and similar to nothing else. And one day, in the bend of a corridor of this house, which is yours for that you have invested of yourselves, are being asked with which right you have to be there. And when you answer, but it is my house, and they say to you, okay, but in that case, watch your stay and make yourself discreet. Everything will go very well. Do you get it?
Bonsoir Yannick. Alors pour un Africain-Américain, c'est plus facile de rentrer en politique aux États-Unis plutôt qu'en France ou en Europe en général.
Je suis tellement désolé parce que je pense, parce que maintenant j'habite dans un pays où on a un président noir et avant que Obama est devenu président, on avait beaucoup de politiciens noirs, les maires, les sénateurs, les représentants du Congrès. On le voit, on dit, oh, moi, un jour, peut-être je peux être comme eux si je travaille dur à l'école. Mais en France, je trouve que c'est pas comme ça, parce qu'il n'y a pas beaucoup d'exemples dans les médias, dans le gouvernement, de Noirs qui sont dans ces positions. Il faut que la culture change. Aussi, le gouvernement, il faut un dialogue.
Mr. Berlusconi said that there is no black Italian. This is not true because it's against the evidence of the collective life of our cities, of our schools, of our universities. Black are present. And Mr. Berlusconi himself said, I don't think our society will become one day a multicultural society. He said it 2 months ago. It's why my presence and the presence of other black elite in Italy, in the media and writing and teaching in university is the daily proof that not only there are black Italians, but our society, the Italian society, is going to become, as all the world, a multicultural, an intercultural society. This is, to say the opposite means to be against the history.
Is it important to you to meet politics in Guadeloupe?
Guadeloupe's strength is its linkage to the rest of the world and its heritage. What makes a chain strong is the role of every link in it. Guadeloupe is a role, a link in the big chain. And so, in the big, really the French-African chain. What excites me today is to see people coming together across lines of language and region to find common ground. I look forward to coming to Guadeloupe. I've been invited. I'm coming.
Yeah, I'm invite you.
I'm coming.
B.World Connection invite you. We're waiting for you. Alors, Président Lurel, content de vous rencontrer au Black Caucus. Je sais que vous avez été invité par Madame Marilyn Sefoc, qu'on remercie d'ailleurs puisque c'est quelqu'un qui nous soutient énormément pour B.World Connection. Alors concrètement, le fait de voir tout ce monde noir réuni, qu'est-ce que ça vous inspire?
J'ai l'impression que ça n'a pas d'équivalent en France, ça n'a pas d'équivalent chez nous. C'est considérable comme organisation. Et c'est vrai, ici on est au la Convention Center ici, il y a des ateliers, ils appellent ça des forums, sur tous les sujets. Et ça, c'est assez impressionnant. Alors, est-ce que tout ce qui se fait ici, c'est transposable en Guadeloupe? Non. C'est clair. Nos petits jeunes, c'est vrai, il y a des gangs en Guadeloupe. Il y a des petits bouts qui... Mon petit biton dit, c'est peut-être qu'on a mieux que tirer. Si vous ne pouvez pas même parler anglais, mais on comprend le langage de la violence. Et ça, c'est un langage international et cosmopolite. Oui. Quand des petits bougs là prennent les gourmets pour des gangs qui à Californie ou à New York, avec nous, avec t-shirt, et qu'on comprend dire que c'est citoyens du monde, mais citoyens du monde de la violence, nous pas business en Guadeloupe. Donc comment les réintégrer? Comment faire en sorte qu'avec, si j'ose dire, leur caractère rebelle, avec leur vécu, avec leurs difficultés, comment faire en sorte de les réintégrer, si j'ose dire, dans le mainstream, dans la société guadeloupéenne et faire en sorte qu'elle soit positive pour le pays? Oui, on peut peut-être inviter des gens ici qui ont eu des expériences, ils étaient en drogue là, ils étaient en violence là, ils étaient dans les gangs, ils ont sorti dans ça et ils sont devenus des modèles pour leur société. Nous ne pouvons pas laisser 8 à 10 000 jeunes guadeloupéens qui sont sortis de l'école sans titre, sans diplôme, sans qualification. Nous ne pouvons pas les considérer comme des déchets, mais faut nous, et c'est ça nous essayer de faire, école de la deuxième chance, peut-être demain école de la troisième chance, peut-être c'est musique qu'il veut faire, ou bien c'est sculpture qu'il veut faire, c'est peinture qu'il veut faire. Il faut trouver moyen de faire ça. On a les moyens de le faire.
Ou alors il veut créer une entreprise, ou alors il veut une scientifique.
On le fait déjà un petit peu, et même pas de fatalité en pays Guadeloupe. Et si les gens qui sont en ghetto là, ils peuvent sortir si vous voulez. Si nous ne pouvons pas un coup de main, si nous ne pouvons pas des exemples nous sortir là, eh bien, en convaincu, la Guadeloupe, Patini a pensé qu'il y a plus encaillé qui d'autres. La Guadeloupe est des encaillés, et c'est nous-mêmes qui des encaillés là. Ouais.
Président, merci. Merci pour l'entretien là.
Et son bel bité ici là.
Merci, Président.
On seul coup, on voit la vinaigrette, tout jeune tombé malade, c'est drogue et alcool qui remède, moun ka manger, s'en foutre de là au culinaire. Chercher un petit côté qui tini air, parce que c'est Medellin, plein jeunes qui râlent les lits, n'a pas de nom, c'est des mini-men, en Kéayo c'est là qui tini haine, c'est là qui tini ennemi. On savent que violence là, ça veut dire help me. Soldats ouvrent des veines, l'ennemi chapelle, yo ka d'accord ouvert des veines, sur des oubliés tout ça avec des veines. Franchement, ni des week-ends, il a qu'à venir notre empideng, qui est en série américaine, alors qu'il faut à cabo. Fais ça, on y pour faire pour vivre, pas mettre au cabo. Parce que de plus en plus de jeunes dans les cafines pas beau. Parti ni travail, parti ni nage, trop jeunes cafines derrière les barreaux, alors qu'il faut à cabo. Fais ça, on y pour faire pour vivre, pas mettre au chaos. Parce que de plus en plus de jeunes dans les cafines pas beau. Parti ni travail, parti ni nage, trop jeunes cafines.
Progress for all Americans is not just healthy bodies, it's also a well-educated mind. And we know that the African American community will fall behind in the United States. But I've said it before, government alone cannot get our children to the promised land. Government can't put away the PlayStation. Government can't put our kids to bed at a reasonable hour. Government can't attend those parent-teacher conferences. Government can't read a book to your child at night. Government can't help them with their homework. Government can't make sure they leave to school on time. These are things only a mother can do and a father can do. These are things that a parent can do. We need to accept our responsibilities as parents and community leaders. We need to be good role models and encourage excellence in all our children, every last one of them. We need to let them know there are no excuses for not doing your best every day, all the time, in order to achieve your dreams. You got to push our kids to aim higher. I don't want all our kids aspiring to be ballers or rappers. I want them aspiring to be teachers and doctors and scientists and engineers. I want them aspiring to be members of Congress and Supreme Court justices. I want them aspiring to be the President of the United States of America.
Alors, Monsieur Jean-Léonard Touardi, je dois vous dire que l'équipe de B.World Collection, on a pris vraiment plaisir à faire votre connaissance durant le Black Caucus. Et on voudrait savoir maintenant quel bilan vous tirez du Black Caucus et aussi de votre visite à Howard University.
Le bilan du Black Caucus est très positif parce que nous avons rencontré beaucoup de congressmen et de congresswomen. Et l'objectif, c'est de créer ce réseau de la diaspora noire aux États-Unis, dans les Caraïbes et en Europe. Un réseau pour défendre nos droits, pour préserver notre identité et surtout un réseau pour faire de façon que, à partir de la diaspora, l'Afrique puisse entrer dans la globalisation avec son identité.
Eh bien, vraiment merci pour cet entretien. Merci pour ces beaux moments que nous avons passés ensemble. Et je sais qu'on va bientôt se retrouver.
Oui.
Ça, c'est une surprise pour ceux qui suivent B.World Connection.
Merci, merci et salut à tout le monde.
Au revoir, mon frère. Merci.
You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try, try and try, try and try. You'll succeed at last. Persecution you must bear. Win and lose, you've got to get your share. Got your mind set on a dream. You can get it, don't hold it to see now. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. You can get it if you really want. But you must try, try and try, try and try. You'll succeed at last.